So what do we really think of Neil?
Neil. Hey, guess what, Steven? I married myself.
What?
I married myself.
Today's movie is Me Wed. You don't want to miss this.
It's a review of a lifetime.
That was my line. Hey everyone, welcome to another review of a lifetime, your one-stop shop of internet videos of white people laughing at bad movies. Can you believe we're the only ones to ever do it? I know I can't. I'm your host, Steven, and before we laugh at another one of these female-skewing Lifetime movies, you might have noticed my co-host is an actual woman.
Oh, you flatter me, Steven.
Still wearing that wedding veil, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, Andi is the very talented, very hilarious artist behind the Sweetweenie.com page that this YouTube channel is more or less a subsidiary of. So we look at her as the creative director of this here YouTube channel.
Creative director, I like that. That makes me feel like I should be drinking my water with my pinky outstretched.
So because this YouTube channel is a subsidiary of Andi's website, her approval is top priority here at Sweetweenie.
Oh, so nice. Never really thought of myself like that.
I mean, to be fair, you've always been very accommodating. I don't think you've ever turned down anything we've pitched to you.
That is true. Yeah, but I'm supposed to say something nice about you though now. Is that how this works?
Guilty as charged. Right there. And we'll just edit all this out in post, right, Neil?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying this is stupid. Hey, Neil.
Well, dang. I guess we gotta move to this part of the script. What are you laughing at? Neil, why are you looking at me like that? Today's movie is Me Wed. Andi, you want to explain this?
Not really.
This is great. This is great. Everything's fine. I'm sure news anchors go through this all the time. Andi, with the weather. Andi!
Go f yourself, Steve.
Not a Neil with sports. Neil!
Shut the f up.
Everyone's against me. Everyone's against me.
Everyone's getting married.
Do these movies ever have unironically good music?
No, but if you take a page out of Netflix's book and play this opening at 1.5 speed, Average Lavigne here actually sounds like punk rock. It's kind of dope.
Everyone's getting married. Everyone's getting hitched. I'm not getting married. I still wanna get my kicks.
Okay, so Me Wed is a movie about a woman named Isabelle. She's beautiful, she's successful, she's happy.
You know what, Isabelle, one day I really hope it's you sitting in this chair.
Yes. Here, here. We'll see.
Her only problem in life is people pressuring her to settle down and get married.
Must be nice.
So yeah, pretty low stakes so far.
Yeah, apparently it's a bit more dramatic in the Spanish language cut of the movie. Me Wed.
You proud?
It's so stupid. So after the opening credits, the conflict immediately presents itself. Isabelle had the nerve to show up to a bridal shower single and somehow not completely ashamed of herself.
That bitch. She needs a man!
Isabelle's friend Amy, however, is the foil character. She's single like Isabelle, but her top priority is settling down and getting married.
Shoes, full wardrobe, nice bedding. Wouldn't Isabelle be happier with a neon beer sign on the wall? Or a pile of clothes on the floor that he doesn't want to put away because he's gonna wear them tomorrow?
Wow, look at how much denial she's in. This woman needs a man about as much as Ellen DeGeneres.
Isabelle shows Amy a fixer-upper house she bought and plans on flipping. But all Amy wants is for Isabelle to be just as thirsty for matrimonial dick as she is.
The movie plays some of that Latin music Boston is so famous for, and transitions into almost literally the same dialogue, but coming from Isabelle's mother during a walk in the park.
This is what your father said to me. If I die, make sure Isabelle gets married before she's too old and wrinkly to attract a decent man.
That's interesting because when I was 15, he said never do anything you don't want to do because someone pressures you.
He was talking about drugs.
But you can't prove it now, can you? Because he's dead.
That's a nice family there.
I can't be seen in the burbs anymore. I'm losing my street cred.
Decorators have street cred.
They do in Beacon Hill.
7 minutes into the movie, 3.5 scenes of dialogue, and so far the only character who hasn't tried to pressure her into getting married is her gay friend she talked to for about 10 seconds.
Hey, kiddo.
Hey, Roy. New assistant?
That's my boy Colin.
Colin here is the first young, handsome, white, heterosexual man in the movie, which makes him the love interest.
Hey, wicked good to meet you.
Wow, it's like he's not at all Canadian.
Yeah, toonies to Timbits, this holder ain't from Boston.
So, Mr. Popowich, thanks for coming in. Could you do a Boston accent for us?
Oh, yeah, totally. Hey, I'm walking here. Forget about it.
Wow, I mean, that's not even Boston, but you nailed it!
I can keep going. I parked my car in Harvard Yard.
After 2 kids and 10 years of marriage, Joanne says she's become the overweight and frumpy woman she swore she would never be.
I can't believe we're watching this crap.
Yeah, tell me about it.
We're gonna use that clip in future reviews, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Amy sets Isabelle up on a blind date with a guy named Jim that's so bad, the Latin music that transitions to the next day is cranked up to ensue. Me Wed!
The Latin music is almost as fiery as the arson!
The next day, Isabelle gets calls from both her mother and Amy asking about her date with Jim.
Did he kiss you goodnight? Oh, are you going to see him again?
Jim. Garment industry, no, and God, no.
Oh, the garment industry.
Before, we used to have to watch 2 separate scenes of Isabelle having the same exact conversation with 2 different people. But now, with the magic of 2-line phone, Isabelle can have the same conversation with the same 2 characters all in a single scene.
Whoa! It's the same lazy writing we hate, but more efficient.
That's right, Steven.
It's almost as if this is what they should have done earlier, or just had all 3 of them all in the same scene. Or just cut Isabelle's mother from the script entirely.
Amy, we can't get married just because our friends are. I mean, if Tracy jumps off the Charles River Bridge, are you gonna jump off too? If I'm single, I just might.
Ah, it's so bland!
I happen to believe that it is possible to be happy and fulfilled without a boyfriend or a husband. I mean, what is wrong with me living my life to the fullest and not being in such a rush? Nothing. I'm fine.
This is the end of the movie, right?
No.
I love myself, I honor myself, and I cherish myself.
Well, then why don't you just marry yourself?
You know what? That's not such a bad idea. What?
And with that, Review of a Lifetime goes back to back with movies where a character pretty much just sums up the basic premise of the movie, only for another character to respond with...
What?
Hey, guess what, guys? I have syphilis. What? Isabelle, I was joking. You can't marry yourself.
Watch me.
Me Wed! Isabelle starts planning the wedding to herself with the help from her friend Bill, and Bill is your typical gay best friend trope.
You can't get married without your own personal gay guy.
Yeah, he is a one-dimensional character who is not doing the queer community any favors, but damn it, is the movie more enjoyable to watch when he's on screen.
Admittedly, the bar is pretty low when it comes to fun characters in this movie. The competition being someone with no problems in life, a woman who only talks about marriage, another woman who only talks about marriage, women plural who we've only seen in marriage-related get-togethers, bland love interest guy, and Roy. Point being, a fun, upbeat, albeit stereotype of a character is still a welcome change of pace compared to the alternatives, who are all basically energy vampires.
Feeling better now. I was a little sick this weekend. Hey, Don.
Mwah. Thank you.
That was the best part of the movie right there. That little look he made. Like, it was genuinely, we genuinely laughed at that. And it just made me realize that there's like two types of people who watch this movie. There's the curmudgeon-y people who agree with Amy and Isabelle's mother and want the boring happy ending of Isabelle settling down. And then there's us. We agree with Bill.
I have a date.
Really? With who?
With Jim, actually.
You're kidding.
No, I suddenly realized he's actually my type.
Right, your type being desperate to get married. Amy, wait.
No, wait, don't go. I shouldn't have called you out on your one personality trait.
Wait a minute. Stop.
You went to Harvard?
Yeah, would it be so shocking if I did? What, would it throw into chaos if I graduated with a master's in architecture? With honors.
Wow, he went to Harvard. Don't judge a book by its cover, huh, Steven?
Ooh, he's complicated. Remember being impressed by people who went to Harvard?
Yeah, it kind of dates this movie a little bit.
I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure there's still people who genuinely earn their spots in these colleges, but after watching the news the last few years...
No, now it's like, oh, you're some rich asshole's kid.
Like, Roy must have, like, I don't know, bought the third largest library at Harvard, right?
His mother is Lori Loughlin.
Which I'm gonna push back on that, because the only genetic combination that makes sense for this asshat right here is if both the leads from Role Models somehow were both his mother and father. Like, seriously, put that picture up that I awkwardly photoshopped. It's terrible, but it's accurate.
The next day, Isabelle goes shopping for wedding dresses with her mother, who doesn't support her decision to marry herself.
Is marrying yourself even legal? Are you going to be alone for the rest of your life? Are you swearing off men forever? Oh my God, are you a lesbian?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to overstep my bounds, but I couldn't help overhearing what you're doing, and I just think it's so empowering. I wish I thought of it.
The woman selling Isabelle her wedding dress also happens to be a journalist that can up the stakes of this story?
How plot convenient.
Please, you have to let me tell your story.
Too bad we never saw her again.
Oh my God. She's lost her mind.
Hey. Coming back to bed, Muffin?
Isabelle and Colin go antiquing looking for some stained glass. After they don't find what they're looking for, they go on a picnic.
She likes that he goes antiquing and sets up a picnic for them. He likes that she's a Red Sox fan. He shows her his CN Tower.
She lets him put it in her Northwest Passage. And then they Canada.
Gotta give them Canucks some credit. They got something right about old Beantown. I think about 40% of Bostonians are conceived that way.
Colin greets her the next morning from his day job of giving people historical tours of Boston. And honestly, I just wanted to talk about this extra. He looks like the brochure very explicitly stated there would be no unscheduled stops.
Hello?
Isabelle's sologamous wedding winds up getting the attention of the talk show host she criticized earlier, and she accepts the offer to be on the show.
This leads to several scenes of the wedding being planned, Colin not knowing about Isabelle's sologamous wedding, and Isabelle's mother and Amy competing to see who's more useless.
It's just so bland. When you appear on a daytime talk show to talk about your self-congratulatory wedding to yourself, it's a little hard to feel sorry for you when you start worrying that it's getting a little out of hand.
Hey Steven, I'm having some people over tomorrow night.
Oh cool, I'm invited?
Yeah, for sure, but I'm keeping it just to people I know. I don't want to make a big deal about it.
Totally understandable, but hey, is it alright if I let like half the population of the city know in my email blast?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I guess people should know about it.
They should know about it, you know, because it's just really empowering, you having people over and like playing categories or some shit.
Yeah, I try to be a positive role model, and categories is pretty empowering, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, you want to appear on some daytime talk show that has like 10 million viewers and talk about this categories night?
Holy crap! crap, yeah!
Funny story, they want to cater your categories night.
Hold on!
When should people start coming over? Is that a hard 7 p.m. arrival time, or can I like breeze in at like quarter to midnight and it'd be chill? What's a girl's name that starts with U?
What? Bullshit! That is bullshit, Frank!
Okay, yeah.
The Nancy Singer Show episode airs sooner than Isabelle expects, and Colin winds up finding out about her wedding before Isabelle can tell him.
And he's okay with all this?
He's great with it. He totally gets it.
Good for him.
Colin confronts Isabelle about it, but then literally is like totally fine with it. I guess to show how quirky and spontaneous he is, I don't know. That was a close one. Almost had some conflict there for a moment.
Oh, I have an idea! It's a drinking game. Whenever we have an emotional blandness outburst, we do a shot.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah!
Aren't you supposed to stand by the people you love?
You love me?
You know I do.
I love you too.
I don't want you to marry yourself. I want you to marry me.
All I'm saying is just take a breath. Make sure this is what you really want.
Miss you, Is.
I miss you too.
That was a mistake. No, that's who that. God, it's just so bland.
It's bland.
So no, please no.
But it's bland!
Ah, don't yell! God! Ah! Ah! Stop it! Colin starts having second thoughts about Isabelle's wedding after getting crap from people saying he's either not satisfying her or not making an honest woman of her. Despite dating for a pretty short amount of time, Colin proposes that instead of marrying herself, she instead marries him when the time comes. So only about an hour into this 86-minute movie does some real conflict begin to emerge.
Maybe if she doesn't consummate the marriage, she can get it annulled. What?
Isabelle has inspired apparently millions of single women by marrying herself to show you can be happy, nay, happiest on your own. However, she's met and fallen in love with a guy who makes her question her previous views on marriage and settling down. She can either be happy with Colin or continue being an inspiring figure for single women. She can risk losing the legions of fans or the guy she loves.
Now, a good movie would have actual consequences depending on which of those two things she chooses. But this is Lifetime, so...
Also, these people she's inspiring, is it just me, or do they suck?
Look, I'm sorry, but I have to say this. If you back out of marrying yourself for some guy, it makes it look like you're only doing it because you couldn't find someone.
They really suck. I mean, there's a dude in this scene who's like supposed to be the asshole. Like he's like, you're not giving it to her. but like the other women in this scene are like actively trying to break them up because Isabelle inspires them more as an unhappy single person. It's like those asshats that are like, you used to be cool, man, and then you like saw a therapist and stopped doing drugs and stopped wanting to kill yourself. Screw you, man.
Or like in 2003, when the only thing worse than Paris Hilton was the people who wanted to be Paris Hilton.
Oh my God, church. Colin, tired of being laughed at by men and scolded by women, breaks up with Isabelle when she chooses her solo wedding over his concerns.
Isabelle's decision to marry herself while dating Colin and then brag about it on television backfired, as Colin's dad, Roy, didn't take the news well either.
My wife saw you on TV that day. She says to me, I feel sorry for the poor schlub she's dating. I didn't have the heart to tell her that that was her kid.
Then there's this scene.
I, Me Wed.
On the balcony, and I tried to be truthful about life.
I don't know. There's no scene of Colin and Isabelle getting ice cream earlier in the movie. There's no couples over there to remind her she's single. It's ice cream.
Isabelle's friends throw her a wedding shower even though there's no groom.
Okay, ladies, that makes 6 personal massagers. Thank you.
That's That's a pretty solid joke there. Pretty solid joke.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But you know what they say about broken clowns?
Yeah. Wait, what?
Hey, remember Amy? She's marrying that fat loser and hates that Isabelle is marrying herself. Nothing's changed.
Cool.
They were your father's. He would have been so proud of you. All any mother wants is to see her child happy. And if this is what you want, here I am.
How are you this strong? Amy dumps that cheap sack of crap and swoops in to support Isabelle on her big day.
You were right. About Jim. I was settling. I guess I saw what you were doing and I thought I could never be happy all alone like that, like you were. I ran into the arms of the first guy who would have me. To Jim.
Yeah, as much as I hate Amy and really any character that's not Bill, Amy's character arc is actually more satisfying than Isabelle's, but we'll get to that later.
Please repeat after me. I, Isabelle,
I, Isabelle,
take myself,
take... I can't do this.
Oh God, she's standing herself up at the altar.
This is so awkward.
I got all dressed up and showed up so this woman could congratulate herself, and she couldn't even be bothered to go through with it.
It's so embarrassing to have to go back to our families and friends and admit that we had nothing better to do today.
And you know what the worst part is?
The millions of single women you're letting down?
I had a man in my life that loved me. And all he asked was that I save this old-fashioned wedding stuff for him. And I said no. And now he's gone, and I'm here, and I'm miserable.
It's really easy to tell single women that they don't need a man to be happy when, one, you're happy, you got the apartment, you got the job, you got the career, and you got a man. All right, you don't have any problems attracting men, and the one that you got is some Harvard graduate contractor architect guy that can fix your plumbing and take you out on a picnic. You're happy, you don't have a care in the world. You're f***ing Erica Durant, Smallville's Erica Durant. Everybody knows Smallville's Erica Durant. You don't have a problem attracting men. Don't tell women that they don't need a man to be happy. Some women don't look like Erica Durant. Like, who are you to tell people they don't need a man to be happy? You can sit the f*** down.
See, you don't need candy to be happy, ladies. What you need... Oh my God, that's so good. But it's not about the candy. It's about doing what makes you happy and living life on your own terms. That's so good. I'm so glad I have candy right now.
I want to do it my way.
take two. I, Isabelle.
No wedding dress. Thank God. That was almost a legit wedding.
I, Isabelle Darden, love myself. I honor myself, and I cherish myself. And most importantly, I promise to really be true to myself from this moment forward, no matter what.
Gross.
I now pronounce you. What do I pronounce you?
Just Isabelle Darden.
Just Isabelle Darden.
Yeah, I'm calling BS on that crowd's reaction. Okay, Isabelle said she invited like 20 people to this wedding, which means everybody else were people interested in like the media craze about this. And this ceremony is all about how she doesn't need a man to be happy, and she's proud of that. But then she ends it by crying and breaking down about how much she needs that man because he made her happy. Like, come on. What the f?
Oh, man. Kind of copped out at the end there, didn't she?
Remember Lance Armstrong? We hate him now. Now imagine Lance Armstrong's a woman a year after Twitter was invented.
Yeah, women get death threats for existing on the internet. I give it a week before that woman from the pub mails her anthrax. And there she blows. Colin comes back, surprise, surprise, they get married after they cut to the future.
It's done. It's over.
Finally.
Oh.
Yeah, boy! That one sucked. Why couldn't I get the syphilis one?
So yeah, Me Wed. It's so bland. Just don't watch it.
Yeah, and Isabelle blows. Like, she already starts off so happy and successful, I'm supposed to suddenly become emotionally invested in her struggle that she might have to break up with her boyfriend because of her own weird decisions.
Yeah, this is why protagonists are usually better when they're kind of down on their luck characters. Main characters usually have to go through some sort of character arc. They have to start the movie in one place in their life and end it in another. You know, they learn lessons, they become better or sometimes worse people. You know, when you start off in a high place and you go higher, it's not really relatable. I'm not gonna say Isabelle doesn't have a character arc in this movie. She's got one. It's just a really weak character arc.
There's already some dum-dum walking around with nothing because Isabelle has most of it. The real question is, when is Isabelle gonna have all of it?
When you're trying to make a feel-good romance with a more satisfying conclusion, the way to go typically, like I said earlier, is with a more down on their luck or flawed protagonist trying to win over a love interest that contrasts with them greatly. Now the differences between the characters can range from intellectual gaps, like simpler protagonists trying to impress more complex love interests.
Maybe it's class-based differences they have to overcome, like a poor person trying to woo and prove their worth to someone of higher status.
Or the differences are all biological, but bestiality still isn't legal yet, and the real monster is man. But here we have Isabelle, who obviously has a lot of money, good looks, friends, and a career flipping houses in Boston. She's dating, she's just not settling down. And the guy she falls for is a successful, attractive contractor with a Harvard diploma, lots of guy friends, and even more of that charm that Red Sox fans are so well known for. Things are just too good for Isabelle at the start of this. Can you imagine if Marty McFly's family was more like they are in the end of the movie, but before he goes back in time? Or if Luke Skywalker and Rey lived carefree lives in their parents' guest houses on Naboo? That's the rich planet from Star Wars, right? Either way, it's kind of hard to feel empathy for a character that like starts off really high and then ends up even higher. And, you know, it's not that you can't do that, but usually when you do, the character has to go through some like real hardship. I mean like real tragic actual conflict. Like think like Iron Man being captured by terrorists, or like Simba's father being murdered by his uncle who lied to him and said it was his fault. That's some real conflict. If you're going to have a character like Isabelle, again, starts off really high, either real shit or it's got to be about her downfall.
Lifetime probably could have gotten away with that second one if they wanted any of Isabelle's actions to have actual consequences.
Yeah, you know, like maybe she goes through with the wedding, but then she loses Colin because Colin sees her as somebody who cares more about her celebrity status than she ever could of him. Or if she decided to puss out during the wedding ceremony and say, no, I can't go through with this, I need a man to be happy, and now she's this demonized public figure.
Yeah, but it's Lifetime, so...
Wah, wah. Which sucks, because I honestly do think it's a pretty interesting conflict once it finally f***ing got there.
Yeah.
You know, she becomes inspiring to single women, but then she falls in love. You know, like that's a really interesting premise, and if there were some actual consequences, like, I don't know, there was some potential there. But Lifetime always squanders it. They always cop out in the end.
Yeah, what is Isabelle's character arc exactly?
I don't know. I mean, I guess she comes to a different understanding of what it is to be happy. That like she saw herself as happy when she was single, but she learns that she can be even happier with a man that she loves.
That's dumb.
And I mentioned this earlier, but as much as Amy sucks, her arc is kinda more satisfying. She learns that she doesn't need a man to be happy and that she can be happier single than with a guy she doesn't like. She's actively trying to make a better life for herself, which is a trait held by most decent protagonists.
It's probably a safe bet that Amy doesn't have all the same luxuries Isabelle has, so it would make more sense that she's more focused on settling down.
Right, you know, like Amy's kind of like lower on the hierarchy of needs than Isabelle is. So, you know, when Isabelle talks about not needing a man to be happy, you know, like Amy doesn't have some, you know, uber bachelor that was created in a lab waiting for her the way Isabelle does. So it's a little rich that Isabelle says, like, you don't need a man to be happy. I mean, that's like, you know, if Bill Gates or Oprah Winfrey just looked you in the eye and said, hey guys, you don't really need
jet
money
skis to be happy, yes.
Did you say jet skis?
Yeah.
I was thinking with money there.
Yeah, but if you have a lot of money, you don't have any problem buying jet skis. Jet skis are the name of the game here. Think about it.
Okay.
Who's got the best jet skis?
Kevin Federline.
Celebrities.
Okay.
Athletes. Rock stars. And they don't have any problem getting jet skis because they have all that money. They can get good jet skis. A good jet ski knows that I mean something. And that it won't just leave me for someone with more money or bigger tits, stranded in the middle of nowhere. Spring break 17. No, Suzuki. Don't go. I love you. You can't just leave me here. We're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. You have my cell phone!
Hey, wicked good to meet you.
It's done. It's over.
Finally.
Ugh.